Hello, and welcome to Gundam Customs Review of Boku no Hero Academia, Chapter 94. The chapter begins with All Might where he left off, smashing All for One in the face. Now with this, it has a couple of text boxes in there, which I'm thinking could be Gran Torino, Shimura Nana, or All Might, saying that he can't take on All for One head on, so he has to wait for him to drop his guard. Now with this, it goes to Gran Torino, who kind of explains this by saying when All Might practically used his right arm to block All for One's ultimate attack last chapter, he sacrificed his right arm so he could use all his strength in his left arm. Now with this, All Might kind of says that All for One is shallow. He also says farewell to him because he's hopefully never going to see him again, because he's going to be in jail or dead or either one. But also with this, he says farewell to the ability One for All. Now with this, All Might uses his, what I think is his ultimate technique, United States of Smash. And with this, it causes this great crater that literally smashes All for One into the ground, leaving him unconscious. Now with this, Midoriya, or not Midoriya, well, everyone watching, so Midoriya is included in that, but everyone watching kind of starts to be startled and stunned for a couple seconds, then they go straight to cheering, as All Might has actually won. Now they announce All Might's winning on the news, and then you go over to Gran Torino again after Edge shot, the guy who kind of attacked All for One last chapter and said, "We're not here as just audience members. We're actually here to help." He says to All Might, who's raising his left hand in the air for triumph, to save his strength, but Gran Torino says this is probably the last time he's going to do it, so just let him be. Now with this, Gran Torino also has a flashback of, training All Might, as he's also probably getting some verbal memory, or verbal flashback from Shimura Nana, who's kind of saying, this country doesn't have a pillar, he kind of wants to be that pillar, so on and so forth. Now with this, you actually go to other heroes actually going through the rubble and saving civilians, sorry. And the news mentions that as All Might is taken on that All for One, the other heroes have been helping the civilians who have been trapped in rubble, and there's going to be a high death toll. Now with this, you also find out that All for One is put into a containment cell that looks more or less like a big metal tube. And you also go to Midoriya's group, who is in a crowd where where they're practically saying they can't really get through this crowd because it's so thick, and the fact that Kirishima mentions that they need to get to the heroes and tell them that Bakugo is safe, because the main reason why anyone was in this fight to begin with is because Bakugo was captured by the League of Villains. Now with this, it kind of has some side things saying that there's people distributing blankets and other supplies, so it's kind of natural to have that big crowd there. Now with this, you also have All Might pointing to the camera and saying that you're next. Now this has multiple meanings in my opinion. The main one meaning that I can come up with is the one that they give to the camera people, is that this is you if you're a villain and you try to do villainy. Now he still keeps up his stature as the pillar of peace and justice, As this is going on, you also see as everyone starts cheering and stunned still with their eyes bawling. And then you go to Midoriya, who's actually crying. Now, you have Bakugo here, who's looking at Midoriya crying, which I think he may be putting two and two together. Maybe within the next chapter or two he might mention something about this, if he actually does know, because Kachan, or Bakugo, normally does speak his mind, especially on stuff he feels unfair or something of that nature. So he might have put two and two together that All Might gave Midoriya his ability. Now, you might find this, he might find out like later on, but I think he's found out right now. But also with this, you go to the secret prison in which, All for One is been taken to. Now there's a guard talking to him, and All for One says, "You have a lot of sensors, don't you? Because I have used or I can't really see. Well, obviously since he doesn't have eyes, but he used an infrared ray quirk to kind of see using other things, using the quirk to see." Now with this, the sensors are throwing off his sight, so he can't really see much at all. And with this, the guard actually mentions, so he fought All Might in this condition, and he still did that much damage to All Might. Now with this, they were both practically injured from their last encounter, which was years ago, probably. So this is actually quite different to have this happen. But going on, we have him going into a cell in which it's kind of right by Stain's cell. And with this, it more or less tells me that they're probably going to break out Stain and All for One, the League of Villains or Legion of Villains. But with this, you have All for One saying, "All Might, you missed your chance to die to make your students stronger, or because if your teacher is out of your life, or suddenly you can't be near your sensei or teacher, your student will have to more or less gain allies, gain strength, power up on their own, so they're not relying on their sensei the entire time." But with this, he also says that it breeds the hatred and anger that is needed to make them much more stronger, as it shows a panel of Tamara. Now with this, it also goes to Tamara saying, "You're next." And it also shows Midoriya as well, making me believe that it's going on to say like the next generation is going to be at the forefront of these next coming battles. Because Midoriya has been a hero, yes, but he hasn't been acknowledged by like the public eye, because as a student, he can't do anything without being a part of a hero agency or having the permission of a hero teacher, or with their company as well. Now with this, you find out that Tomura, who was practically the first villain you actually get, unless you count that mole creature guy, but he's kind of the first named villain you get to meet in the series, where he comes into the USJ to practically terrorize everyone and kill All Might with Nomu and the fog guy, which I always forget his name. But with this, like Tomura, after this, you've always kind of known that he was a puppet of Sensei, aka One for All, or All for One, and you actually want to know why this is happening, and he's kind of reckless on his own, and he's still going by the teachings of All for One. Now, without All for One telling him what to do, he's going to have to think for himself, and he's going to be, most likely, the main villain of the series altogether. Now, the series as a whole, I really like it. Now with this, I find at the end it's going to be Bakugo Midoriya versus Tomura, or even just Midoriya. Now, I don't feel like this is going to be happening within the next handful of chapters, because that would just be really stupid. But I'm sorry for those who I actually got hyped up, because I actually expected either Gran Torino, All Might, or All for One to die within this chapter, and sadly I was wrong on all counts. I'm sorry. Well, I was glad All Might didn't get killed, but All for One, you kind of guessed he was either going to get captured or going to escape somehow, because really, someone with that much power isn't going to go down or that easily just by All Might, even though All Might is quite powerful. Now, Gran Torino, I'm kind of sad that he didn't die. Not that I don't like his character, he's a really cool character. But Gran Torino is more of the character you could have gotten away with killing and still producing, like, what Tomura has, but with Midoriya. Like, if Gran Torino was to have died there, Midoriya would have had slight anger towards All for One and Tomura, and yet he would still have All Might to, like, kind of control that, to, like, train him to be even stronger than he is. But they're probably going to have another way of making him stronger than he is now, but Tomura has the advantage on him right now, as he has more anger, which is more raw power, but he's still probably going to get more and more villains, which this is going to be a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing for us readers, because we get to see, like, a lot more different quirks, a lot more different personalities, more characters, more fights. But it's bad for the, like, Midoriya characters, or the characters of the series, because there's going to be much more crime on there. There's going to be no All Might to save them. There's going to be a whole bunch of these villains, but there's also going to be some heroes. There's going to be Class 1A, maybe Class 1B, maybe, if they do think about it, that hypnotist guy who was a part of the general department, and maybe even the girl from the company part of the system, which could create gadgets. Now, this could be just speculation too, but they could also have, like, people who were considered their senpais, which are, like, the second and third years, if they're going with the, like, Japanese high school kind of thing. If they're going with American high school, because I don't know how they go for this high school. I don't think they have 4 years, but I think they have 3. So, but their outlay for their school is kind of reminiscent of the American, or at least what I know of the American schools, where there's a lunchroom and then you have your classrooms. And you have, like, a gym area where it seems like everyone can go into gym. In most animes that I have seen, not saying that I'm 100% sure of the Japanese culture, but from what I know of it from anime. Now, I can't say this about Japanese culture in general, but it's a difference from the school-type animes I've seen before. That would be a better way to put it. I'm rambling, I'm sorry. Let's go with this. I hope you guys liked the video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. But if you give me a thumbs down, I would like to know why you didn't like the video. I would like you to put it in the comment section below. And I hope you guys enjoy your day. I'm going to be starting a new little thing. Maybe put up videos maybe once or twice or even more than that a week, kind of saying about character discussions, such as, like, characters who are more prominent, or characters who are more fan favorite, or that are relevant to the story at the very moment. So, like, at the very moment, unless you guys, like, really want me to, I'm not going to do, like, some character discussion on Mustard, the guy with the gas mask from the other arc, or some other characters who are, like, one-off villains. So with that, I hope you guys enjoy your day, and see ya.